Okay, great. So another episode here, rolling along, and life is really an energetic experience, and the more energy, the more chi we have running through our system, the more enthusiasm we'll have for life, the more in tune we'll be with what our next steps are, and how do we maintain that balance? How do we not give away the energy, so to speak? Now, the idea here is that you can't really make a wrong decision, but you'll notice when something drains you. And so, in order to maintain a high vibration through the day, it's paramount that you make the most elegant choices possible in terms of the vibrations that you're choosing to engage with. And oftentimes, we'll feel obligated to interact with certain people, and after the fact realizing, wait a second, that wasn't necessarily the best use of my time or energy because I actually may feel drained. So note that the activities that you're doing, are they energizing you or are they draining you? Now, there's always the possibility that if you're doing something that seems to drain you, that there are fear-based definitions impeding that. But also, you must be honest with yourself and say, hey, am I doing things here that don't necessarily assist me in my spiritual development? And just an example here in the business that I'm building and the communities that I'm creating, there's this effect of teaching your team what to do so that they're not dependent on you. And there's a lady that I'm working with who's absolutely amazing, incredibly gifted, and incredibly not tech savvy in some regards. And I'm sure she would attest to this and have no issues with me sharing this anecdote. And so in my position, it's my job to empower her to be able to do at least the things that she is able to learn. And she can learn all of it, quite frankly, because it's just a skill set. So it's a continued emphasis. And it would be easy in a sense, not really, but I'll just use that terminology. It would be easy to acquiesce and do it all for her and all for her team. And then everyone can depend on Matthew. And that's so wonderful. But that's not what's being created here, right? This is a process of responsibility. This is a process of taking charge, taking control, and being a leader in every respect. And in some of the people that we're bringing on board, for example, with our community, it's, technology hasn't been the forefront of what they have learned and what they've been responsible for whatever reason. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it does come a time where, hey, I have to learn this stuff, because if I'm going to be in business for the next 5, 10, 20, 30 years, to any extent, I ought to know how certain things work and how to navigate this. And so as a leader, it's my job to empower them with that understanding and give them every bit of support and training they need, but also the recognition that they're not going to be dependent on me to do it for them, because that would be counterproductive to the entire setup that we're creating here. And as a leader, you have to allow yourself to be transferable in what you're doing. If you can't empower someone else to be a leader and they're totally dependent on you, and then members of their team are now dependent on you, you create that ripple effect. You create that energetic vibration through the team. And you simply can't have that. Now, it'll all work out in the wash, and it'll all allow itself to manifest exactly as needed. But when you catch it early on, and the earlier on you catch it, the better, and you recognize, hey, am I falling into a role where I'm pleasing people here, where I'm acquiescing to their limiting beliefs? And the moment you recognize that you're even navigating into that territory at all, you have to catch it. And you have to recognize, hey, there's something here that we need to work together with. So being a leader is about empowering people with what they need, not necessarily what they want, not necessarily what they think they want, but what they actually need. And that's going to come into your awareness, because you're going to know if something's draining you in any respect. You've stepped out of line and you've lost your balance. So how do you maintain your balance? Self-honesty. How do you maintain your energy? Being honest with, where are you spending your energy? Where are you spending your focus? And allowing yourself to have enough authority to step in and say, hey, wait a second, I'm a leader here. What can I do differently to move this situation exactly where it needs to be, so that everybody's winning in the short term and the long term? So that self-awareness is absolutely mission critical in your journey here as a leader, in your journey, in your personal transformation, in your spiritual development. So take note, where are you acquiescing to others? Where are you giving in? And notice, the bigger your organization, the more people that you're responsible for, that has a magnetic effect, that has a reflective effect, which would be more accurate to say in this regard, because you're going to see that reflected in your team members. But then the magnetism means you're going to end up attracting that situation more and more until you resolve it. So it's good in the sense that it's going to be thrown into your face until you take charge and say, hey, we got to handle this differently. And at the same time, you must allow everyone on your team to develop in their own unique way, support them in the best way that you can, and simultaneously know when to draw the line, know when it's time for them to take it into their own hands and figure out things on their own with your support there, but them taking responsibility for the activities and actions that they need to do. And we don't need codependent relationships ever. That's never healthy. And that's not what's going to result in people's success, because it's just going to replicate itself and everyone's going to end up learning that lesson. So if we can catch it ahead of time as leaders and put the ideas in place, the teaching in place, the resources in place to circumvent that and allow people to resolve it for themselves quickly, then we can all move together as a unit. So that's very essential, very important to maintaining your energy and balance, and always being responsible for who you are in the moment and not giving in to others, not giving into their limiting belief systems. And sometimes it seems easier to surrender and acquiesce to that, but it is much easier to surrender to the truth. It is much easier to surrender to self-honesty, and it is much easier to surrender to your higher self and allow that power to take over your mind and body and inspire you to take the actions and make the communications necessary to transform your life. Quite literally, with your words, with your actions, you are transforming your reality. So I encourage you all to take this with significance, note it for yourself in your own unique way, and implement it into your life in the way that works best for you. And please, of course, if you have questions about this in any regard or comments, please do share, and I'll be happy to receive them and respond. And I look forward to supporting all of you on this amazing journey that we're co-creating. Co-creating meaning we're both equals on the path, and you're not dependent on me, I'm not dependent on you, but we're working together in order to align with our preferred version of Earth, our preferred reality, and our preferred life circumstances. And if we're in business together currently, or we have the potential to do that and to partner and to collaborate, then we will always be working side by side, and no one is further ahead or behind than the other. So I encourage you to embrace that mentality, those ideas, contemplate them for your own self-reflection, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Bye for now.